These days, it takes more than traditional cartons to satisfy ice cream crazy consumers.
I am so excited to be here. I don't usually talk about it in public, but I am a terrible ice cream addict.
To kick off the process, a computerized system pumps up to 750 gallons of liquid sugar into this vat. Then a worker adds a secret mix of ingredients called stabilizers. These will help prevent the formation of ice crystals when the finished products sit on supermarket shelves. The stabilizers blend in with the liquid sugar. Then the mixture moves through this series of pipes and into the batch tank. This is where they add the dairy products. Raw milk, cream, and condensed milk pump in from 14 silos outside the factory. Now we're left with a milky liquid called ice cream mix. But this stuff isn't ready to become part of a novelty snack. It still has to pass through two important machines. First up, the pasteurizer. The pasteurization process actually kills dangerous bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella by heating up the mix. The ice cream mix enters the pasteurizer at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. A pump sends the mix through a series of steel plates. Simultaneously, water that's over 175 degrees Fahrenheit flows through on the other side of the plates. The heat from the hot water transfers to the ice cream mix, heating it to over 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, stripped of harmful bacteria, the mix heads to the homogenizer. Inside, a piston generates 2,000 pounds per square inch of force to push a large stream of ice cream through a narrow space. This breaks up the fat molecules in the milk and distributes them evenly throughout the mix. When it comes out the other side, all of the fat particles are reduced in size, and the mixture is uniform. Now it's time to give this liquid the flavor it needs to become part of an ice cream treat. That happens here in the flavor tanks.
They pump 1,000 gallons into the tank, and then an ice cream maker adds the good stuff, things like vanilla bean extract and chocolate syrup, and they mix together for 10 to 15 minutes here, and then it's ready for the freezer.
These freezers cool the ice cream mix to below 23 degrees Fahrenheit in less than 4 minutes.
This is an industrial ice cream freezer. It works a lot like a homemade ice cream freezer. Inside here, you've got another tube called the barrel. Batch comes in at this end, super cold ammonia flows around the barrel, ice cream comes out the other end.
But the ice cream does more than just cool down here. It also gets one last surprising ingredient.
Part of making ice cream is you're actually going to add air into the product. So for premium ice cream, for every 1 cup of mix that you would use, you would add 1 cup of air.
So ice cream is half air?
Yeah, it's half air. Air helps give the product texture and a lighter feel in your mouth. It actually helps give you a more creamier mouth sensation just by design.
So a pump inside the freezer pumps air into the mix as it passes through. Now it's time to put this ice cream to good use in some of America's most popular treats. First up, ice cream sandwiches. Each sandwich starts when a worker sends chocolate wafers down a conveyor 2 by 2. Then, spinning nozzles squirt dollops of ice cream onto each chocolate wafer. Finally, a revolving conveyor places another wafer on top to complete the sandwich. This mechanical arm taps the tops of the chocolate wafers, smushing the sandwiches and expanding the ice cream to the edges of the cookies. The stacks are compacted to just over 1 inch tall, the perfect size for taking a bite.
These are like as hard as a rock.
Yeah, when we first put them on the line, they're as hard as poker chips. Here, we actually want the moisture from the ice cream to absorb into the wafer to make it soft and chewy.
It takes 24 hours for the moisture in the ice cream to soften the wafers. But let's say you prefer your ice cream on a stick. Just head to the Eskimo pie line. A conveyor guides these rectangular molds under a set of 16 nozzles, which fill them with ice cream. Then, sets of mechanical fingers called grippers insert wooden sticks into the molds. A large metal arm pulls the bars out of their molds and transports them to the dip tank. Here, liquid chocolate coats the bars. Eskimo pies were originally called ice cream bars, and legend has it that they were invented for a customer who couldn't decide between ice cream or a candy bar. With their chocolate coating in place, these Eskimo pies are wrapped up and moved out. Dryers churns out over 250 of these ice cream sandwiches every minute. But that's nothing compared to the output of another novelty treat. This manufacturing line pairs ice cream with its favorite edible container, cones. Here's where Dryers produces the drumstick. A worker kicks off the process by loading a tray of 48 cones onto a conveyor. As the cones move down the line, 8 nozzles spray each row with chocolate. This chocolate coating isn't just a tasty bonus. It acts as a barrier between the cone and the ice cream to keep the cones from getting soggy. Then the cones travel underneath the filler, where more nozzles squirt each one with vanilla ice cream. These vanilla cones are already starting to melt, so they pass through this cooling tunnel. Inside, the air is a chilling 55 degrees below zero. Now they're frozen enough to hang upside down without losing their shape, which is useful for the next step, the chocolate dip. A chocolate-filled vat rises to meet the cones. The ice cream is so cold from the cooling tunnel that the chocolate hardens around it. Then a nearly identical mechanism coats the chocolate with peanuts. Now they're ready for packaging. The cones fall into a mechanical hinge, which flips them into 8 separate lanes lined with plastic packaging. A blade then trims the wrapping into individual portions. People must really love tearing into these packages because this Dryer's factory produces 1,000 drumsticks every minute.